So guys, this here is the backtesting result of the USD Japanese yen using my range breakout expert advisor with my new settings that I now use in my live account.
This video is presented by BM Trading. Learn to code your own expert advisors. Link in the description.
So there was a change, and I'm talking about this live account here. And in this video, I want to talk about all of the changes because some people were asking about it already, and I know you're always curious what I do here, what I trade exactly. And I was very transparent until now, so I try to stick to this path. So we're talking about USD Japanese yen down here in the lower left corner, of course. And I made a few changes to the settings, and these changes are quite substantial, I would say. So these are not minor changes. They're really changing a lot of the characteristics of the strategy. I also applied changes to the GBP/USD settings. So we will also talk about this in the later stage of the video. So until now, I used let's talk about this here. So until now, let's make this a little bit bigger so it's easier to see. So until now, you can see this was here, I think. Oh yeah, these days we're still with the old settings, I think, and we can see that, I mean, the logic was always the same. Like we have 2 points in time, like up until like last Friday, it was, I think, from like 3 to 4:30, yes. And then we build the range, we have the high and the low of the range, and we trade the first breakout. Wherever the first breakout goes, there we open a position. Then the stop loss was, and this is the most important point now about my changes, the stop loss was 0.5% away from the position open price. So whatever the position open price was, in this case it was around 143.614. We take 0.5% of this and we subtract it from this level, and this was the stop loss. And for every single trade I risked 0.5%. In this account this makes 250 euro. So this was the strategy up until last Friday. We can also see it here beautifully. There was like this short trade was executed here. The stop loss was around 0.5% away, and when it gets hit, I lose 0.5% in my account. And the risk is still the same, but now I changed my settings and it's a little bit different. So let's talk about the settings. Also, I now use the exact same expert advisor that you can find on MQL5 or use for free if you use my partner brokers. If you need more information on this, check out the links in the video description and you will learn how to use these expert advisors completely for free with my partner brokers. Everything is explained on my webpage. So now we have the exact same settings that you will also see when you use the expert advisor. And what I did not change in my personal account is the risk. I still risk 250 euro for every single trade, so there's no change here. Still with my new settings, I am, I would say, more aggressive because the big change is here, the stop loss placement, because I'm going back to the original idea of the range breakout EA. This is how I traded it for many years and actually traded it all of the time. But in this account I started with a different approach because I started this account trading with a calculation mode %, but now I'm going back to factor for these two currencies, and the factor is 1, which means that at the other side of the range there is the stop loss placement. So you can see here we currently have 2 pending orders, a sell stop at the lower side, a buy stop at the upper side of the range, and the stop loss is for both of these orders or then trades when executed, the stop loss at the other side of the range. So this is what the calculation factor, the stop loss factor of 1 means here. Also, another change is the time settings. I go from 3 to 6 now instead of 3 to 4:30. So the range is longer pretty much, but this has turned out to be quite efficient, as we saw in this long-term backtest here. So these are the settings that I use now here. Closing time remains the same, and then I do not use a trading stop or a break-even stop. Also, no changes to the trade frequency. I trade the first trade in a day, that's it. But there are more changes when it comes to the range filter. I deactivated the range filter. So as I said, I'm really going back to the basics of this strategy, really just the range, the breakout, stop loss factor 1, and then let's go for the day and let's see what happens. There are multiple reasons why I did this. First of all, or let me explain first of all why I decided to use the stop loss percentage of 0.5 up until now. So my initial thought was, and this thought, by the way, is not stupid or unreasonable, it's still valid. So my thought was, if we see ranges that are relatively small, like on this day, for example, the range was just 280 points. This usually means if we place the stop loss at the other side of the range, we do have a very big position size, because position size calculated on the stop loss distance, and if the stop loss distance is very small, the position size is very big. And this can lead, and has led in the past very often, to slippage, especially during news events, which can be a huge problem, because if you have a high position size and a narrow stop loss, and then you have a news event like the CPI, Consumer Price Index, or non-farm payrolls, and this can really cause a spike, and then you might lose a lot more than you initially thought you would lose or wanted to lose with your stop loss placement. So with using the stop loss placement in percent, like I did here, this dramatically lowers the risk of the slippage during news events, because you can see here, even if we have a relatively small range, the stop loss is just below this range, which means that the position size is pretty much always the same kinda. And if there's slippage, it's of course bad, but it's not as bad because the position size is always at the same level. And with the technique or settings that I use now, the position size doesn't always have to be, but can be a lot bigger if there's a small range, and this can cause more slippage, especially during news events. So why am I still going back to this? The main reason is that I think my approach here with the stop loss in percent, especially in the last year where I traded live now, it's kind of lacking performance quite a bit, because when we see small ranges and then big news events, it's not always only a risk. It's always a huge. It's also always a huge chance, because of this big position size that we can see with small ranges, and then the big moves that are caused by news, we also have the possibility to make a lot of money if the market goes into the right direction. So it's kind of both. It's a little bit more risk, but it's also, of course, a huge potential that we do have. And I traded the settings like this all of the time in other accounts. For example, in this FTMO account here, which is a funded account, it's currently up 6.8k. So this will be a nice payout, hopefully. And in this account on the left side, you can see here the USD/Japanese yen here made 3,500, which is around 15 times the risk that I take with every single trade in this account, which is insane. So this account here outperformed my live trading account by a huge margin. And in this account, I use a similar approach as I do now in my live account. I do not use the same settings in my FTMO account, and I will not reveal my settings because FTMO says that's not a good idea and they will take away your account. So I cannot unveil my settings in this FTMO account, but they are closer to the settings again that I use now in my live account. So this is the reason behind this. So I'm going back to the traditional approach. I mean, like stop loss at the other side of the range, no range filter. It's even easier, and I like easy strategies. So less confusion, easier concept, and hopefully more profit in the future. But that's what we have to wait for. Then, talking about changes, I also made changes for GBPUSD. So let me show you this also. I will not explain the whole concept again because it's the same concept as for USD/Japanese yen. I use the stop loss at the other side of the range. Let me show you the settings real quick. So you can see 250 risk is the same. It's a money amount, so I risk 250 euro for every single trade, we don't have a TP, we do have a stop loss factor of 1. So stop loss always at the other side of the range. The range that I use here is from 4 to 11:30. I think this did not really change. I kind of used this before, and I close positions at 18 o'clock or 6 p.m. I don't use a trading stop loss. I don't use a break-even stop. I do 1 trade per day maximum, and I deactivated the range filter. So no range filter anymore in GBPUSD. Yeah, and these are the settings that I now have for GBPUSD. And in a second, I will show you the backtesting results of this on my local PC. But one last change, since I'm talking about this here in this video, is what I made to gold, because here I also deactivated the range filter, because especially in the last few weeks, it would have been a lot better without the range filter. But this is, I think, a minor change, and it's not having as much impact as the changes in USD/JPY and GBPUSD. So talking about this, let's test GBPUSD here, GBPUSD with my Copy data. Here we go from, I think, 4 to 11:30 it was, which are 4 to 11:30, which are 450 minutes, I think. So 450 minutes, and we close at 18. No trading stop loss, 1 trade, no range filter. So that's it. This was the last test from USD/JPY. Now I will start the test for GBPUSD, and that's how I want to end the video. And this is the update, so you don't have to be confused anymore about the changes that I made to the live trading account. So I hope you liked this update. Let me know in the comments what you think about it, and maybe post your settings for some of the currencies, also CFDs, that gave you good results. This is a community in the end, so everyone can benefit from the research or the work that somebody else does, and this is just helping everyone in the end. So thanks for speaking is not that easy. Thanks for watching. Have a great time and good trades. I will see you in the next video. Bye bye.